Spiritual Messenger here with my new Empowered Moments video for the month of July 2022. For this month's monthly Empowered Moments video, we're going to be using the Sirian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this month, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle cards by Izzy Ivy. All right, so we've got quite the month ahead of us and a lot to discuss. This month, I will tell you, is vibrating to karmic number 13 as far as numerology. And karmic number 13 is a number of death and rebirth and transformation and change on a deep inner level. So let's start out our monthly July video with an empowered moment. So if you'll just get comfortable, and let's close our eyes, relax our body, clear our minds of all thoughts, and just focus in on this present moment, the here and now. Visualizing, sensing, feeling, or just knowing that you're surrounded in golden white light of God's source energy, universe, great spirit, all that is. Let's take in a couple of deep breaths and breathe in that golden white light into every cell of our body, allowing it to activate ancient memories of who we really are. And as we exhale, and each time we exhale, we're letting go of all that our body, mind, and soul no longer needs. We're focusing on this energy for July, this energy of death and rebirth, metaphoric death and rebirth, transformation and change on a deep inner level. And we call in this transformation energy to assist us in transmuting what we no longer need to carry within us, whatever emotions or feelings or thoughts or perceptions, whatever belief systems or karmic patterns or trauma energies that we need to release and let go for our highest growth and evolution to take place. And let's breathe in that intention. Breathing that in and exhaling. And when you feel ready, in your own time, you can open your eyes and come back to this present moment, this empowered moment. And let's go ahead and start out our July Empowered Moments video by taking a look at your stones of choice for that special message card a little bit later. So we've got the first stone of choice. This is something that I actually have recently made into a special intention pendant, not this particular stone, but a stone that's much smaller, of course, and easily wrappable. This is Sonora Sunrise Sunset Chrysocolla. Sonora Sunrise Sunset Chrysocolla. And you can see that beautiful red energy kind of moving through that chrysocolla, okay? Isn't that gorgeous? Now, this is a stone of tranquility, peace, unconditional love, acceptance, hope, sensitivity, change, and manifestation. Okay? The second stone of choice here, one of my all-time favorites, is this beautiful slab of lapis. Actually, the back side is not as pretty as the front side, but still beautiful lapis. This is a stone of strength, courage, loyalty, wisdom, intellect, truth, knowledge, peace, harmony, compassion, self-awareness, and enlightenment. And then the last stone of choice is ruby fuchsite or ruby in fuchsite. And of course you can see the ruby here, and where's the other piece? There's a piece here, a couple pieces a little bit flexed down here. This is the nicest one right here, but the fuchsite is the green, the ruby of course is the red that's within the ruby fuchsite. This is a stone of peace, nurturing, strength, courage, zest, clarity, awareness, confidence, transformation, and heart chakra clearing. So they have some similarities and then some things that are different for each one. So again, our stones of choice for the special message card later is Sonora Sunrise Sunset, Chrysocolla, got Lapis, and we've got Ruby Fuchsite. So go with whatever in the moment you feel attracted to. Sometimes we say, oh, I always like, let's say lapis, like me. I always like lapis, but if you look, when I hold them up and I also tell you the qualities, there might be one that you're like, oh, but I really need those qualities, or I really like the look of that stone. It's really drawing me in. So use your intuition when you're choosing the stone for yourself. And that's both in the monthly as well as the weekly Empowered Moments videos. So let's go ahead and start with the numerology vibration of the month of July. So as we mentioned, or as I mentioned earlier, July is a karmic number 13 vibration. How do we get that? We take the universal year number of 2022, which 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. We're in a universal 6 energy vibration for 2022. And then we add that to the number of the month. July is the 7th month. 6 plus 7 is 13. In numerology, we reduce things down to a single digit unless it's a master number or a karmic number. And in this case, it's a karmic number, but we are going to also look at the single digit vibration. That's where we're going to start. So if we take the 13 and we add the 1 and the 3, it equals a 4. Numerologically, a 4 can be about earthly challenges, I've found, dealing with the third dimensional reality around us, having to put forth work and effort and moving forward step by step and paying attention to the details of life. It's about restructuring our lives or restructuring ourselves, restructuring our career, restructuring our family, restructuring our finances. It's about trying to build a solid foundation for yourself as far as, you know, having some sort of sense of security, not just financial, but emotional security, living security as well. So it's a very grounded number, okay? It's a very practical number. And again, it deals with earthly concerns. And sometimes it brings in feelings of restriction or limitation or feeling stuck or feeling delayed in moving forward with a project or moving forward in life. Now, the double digit, the 13, as I mentioned, that's a karmic number. So karmic number 13, that's about death and rebirth and transformation and change. It's considered by the ancients to be a very sacred number. So it's a sacred number vibration. To me, it really feels like the sign of Scorpio. If you know about astrology a little bit, Scorpio has those 3 levels to it, right? It's got the scorpion, the eagle, and then the phoenix. And so the number 13 sort of has that energy as well. Degeneration, generation, transformation. There's these levels to karmic number 13 where we're going through on an internal level this death and rebirth process energetically. Now, this can be metaphoric for death and rebirth in our lives as well, certain situations or circumstances that's going through a death and rebirth. But remember that that can also be this death and rebirth energy within ourselves, that we're going through a transformation like a snake shedding its skin. And I always think of the snake energy when I think of Scorpio, because it's highly about transformation and change, shedding the old to welcome in the new, or allow the new to start to take form. So this karmic 13 energy for July is heavily about, again, this internal process of deep changes in our lives and transformation and growth on either a deep inner level, excuse me, I had to get something out of the way there of the camera, or on a situational level. There can be transformation and change as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, well, actually, I wanted to show you the card, right? So the card that relates to Major Arcana 13, I think that we need to talk about this too, but similar, energy for sure. Major Arcana 13 in the traditional tarot is the Death card. In the Sirian Starseed Tarot, which I'm using today, it's called Transition. Okay, and you can see this, again, this metaphoric transitioning energy of this soul. You can see the soul is actually in what appears to be kind of sleeping mode on their bed. They're in a state of sleep or dream time. And their soul, or an aspect of their soul, is transitioning into higher dimensions or other dimensions, okay? So this is what we're doing too. We're transforming into higher dimensions or other dimensions. If we allow ourselves to shed that old lower vibrational energy, and part of death or transition is also transmutation. So in the Death card, we're also transmuting what we no longer need, this lower energy, so that we can evolve and raise our consciousness, raise ourselves higher into these other realms, okay? All right, so now let's talk about the astrological energies of significance for July. There's a lot going on in July, most of which you'll be hearing me talk about in the weekly Empowered Moments videos, but we're going to talk about the highlights. And right away on the 1st of July, we start out with Mars square Pluto. Now, Mars is the warrior planet. He's the planet of energy, action, and forward movement. Right now, at least in the beginning of the month, he starts out in his home sign of Aries. So he's really kind of the warrior now. He's really the warrior, wanting to move fast and furious towards whatever his goals are. Now, he challenges or squares Pluto on the very first day of July. And Pluto rules Scorpio. Pluto is about death and rebirth and transformation and change, all of those things that we've been talking about. And Mars even is also the ruler of Scorpio. Okay, so we have a modern ruler, Pluto. Pluto was discovered in 1930. When he was discovered in 1930, we assigned him the rulership of Scorpio. But before the year 1930, Mars ruled Scorpio. So we've got two scorpionic planets that are challenging one another right at the beginning of the month, bringing some sort of a big redirection, a big change, a big death and rebirth. So we're going to feel that probably the last day or two of June. If you're watching this before July actually begins, you'll want to pay attention to what is happening there at the beginning of the month. Then on the 4th of July, so only 4 days later, Mars the warrior is now moving into Earth sign Taurus. Now, this is going to really kind of calm down his assertiveness. It's going to calm down his wanting to move fast and furious, right? Because Taurus is practical and patient, and, it's an earth sign. It's grounded. It moves much more slowly, okay? So our energies of moving forward, maybe we're working on projects, maybe we're working on an idea, whatever forward movement you're working on, whatever you're putting your energy into, Mars in Taurus is going to slow things down a bit. And Mars is going to be in Taurus from the 4th of July until the 20th of August. So a good month and a half or so, we're going to have this step-by-step, patient, moving slow kind of energy. The unfolding of circumstances and situations is going to be delayed a little bit and slowed down a little bit. The one good thing about Mars and Taurus is that through patience, through determination, and through persistence, we're putting our energy towards this sense of security and a solid foundation, because that's what earth is. The earth beneath our feet gives us security, a solid foundation upon which to stand. And so even if things are moving more slowly, know that the movement that you're creating in your life in any particular direction is something that's going to have a good solid kind of energy to it, so that we can stand upon it, and it's going to stand the test of time, so to speak. So don't get impatient or frustrated by the lack of fast movement with Mars and Taurus for a while. Also on the 4th of July, Mercury is going to switch signs. He's going to move from his home sign of Gemini into the waters of Cancer. So Mercury rules the mind, the mental realm, our thoughts, ideas, perceptions, and how we communicate. Now again, until the 4th of July, he's ending up in his home sign of Gemini, where he's very chatty, very curious. His mind is very agile. It's moving quickly. It's juggling ideas and concepts, and sometimes maybe being a little scattered because it's thinking so much or communicating so much. Now it goes into Cancer on the 4th of July, stays only in Cancer until the 19th of July, so not even this full month. But Mercury in Cancer, I mean, Mercury is logical and kind of practical, analytical. Cancer is intuitive and emotional and feeling oriented. So we're kind of merging logic and intuition now. Cancer also rules home and family. So a lot of our thoughts and ideas and communications, it's going to be in the realm of home and family, living situation, emotional connections, people we're emotionally connected to, or things that we're emotionally invested in and connected to. All right, then we're going to skip all the way to, let me pick up my notes here. Skipping all the way till the 13th and 14th of July. And then we have a full moon at 21 degrees of Capricorn. Now, full moons are about completion and endings and healing and releasing and letting go. And of course, as the moon becomes full, right, it grows in size and becomes full, it's intensifying and magnifying the emotional energies of the moon. But this one's in Capricorn. Capricorn's a practical earth sign, and it's goal oriented, and it deals with business and career and status and who we are out in the world, our life path and destiny path. So we're looking at those as going to be themes for this full moon. The full moon is going to be opposing Mercury in Cancer. So because, again, Cancer rules home and family, we might find that communications or interactions with home and family is being intensified during this full moon time period. The full moon is also in a trine connection to Uranus and Taurus, and Uranus can bring some sudden and unexpected sorts of energies. Now, I wouldn't let this full moon fool you as far as not having a lot of challenging aspects to it, because it is going to make a wide square, which is a challenging aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer, the planet that deals with our past life wounds. And I really feel like as the moon is coming to fullness is when it's going to challenge Chiron. And Chiron, we're going to get to this in a minute, but Chiron is slowing down to turn retrograde this month. And as a planet slows down to turn retrograde, or as it slows down to turn back to direct motion, it's magnifying the energies of that planet and what it's all about. And Chiron, again, it's bringing up this split of our energies and personalities and these wounds from the past or from our past lives, and this idea of needing to integrate and kind of put the pieces of the puzzle within ourselves back together, so to speak. And Chiron's in Aries. So we have this energy of wounds of the self, right? Aries is about self, self-identity, self-confidence, self-awareness. So these wounds that are being magnified are wounds of the self. And this full moon in Capricorn challenges Chiron and Aries. And we're going to see some of those wounds, especially because Chiron is slowing down, start to intensify. Now, the full moon happens at 21 degrees of Capricorn, and Pluto right now, I think it's around 27 degrees of Capricorn. That's 6 degrees away, but it's still definitely within range of what we call a conjunction, right? The full moon is in Capricorn at 21, Pluto's in Capricorn at 27, 6 degrees away. So Pluto again brings transformation, death and rebirth, change, transition, transmutation, regeneration. And I think that that's going to be close enough for that full moon again to be quite a powerful energy. Now, Pluto does rule power and control, things that are hidden beneath the surface. It rules manipulation and sometimes even abuse, right? So we might find that there is some of those energies rising up in the collective of humanity in different parts of the world, in different circumstances and situations. So I think this full moon is going to be pretty powerful. And then on the 17th of July, we've got Venus, planet of love, relationships, money, finances, values, and how we value ourselves. Venus, and ruler of the divine feminine, Venus is moving out of Gemini and into Cancer. Okay, so she's going to join where Mercury is here, and where actually the sun is, in the sign of Cancer. So Venus is going to be much more loving and nurturing and caring and caretaking and emotionally sensitive in relationships, in love, within this placement. She's going to be in Cancer, by the way, until August 11th. Now, in the realm of money and finances, Cancer tends to be quite a security-oriented sign. Usually it's about emotional security, but Venus in Cancer is going to be, she wants some financial security as well. She wants to feel very emotionally and financially secure in life. And so her decisions regarding money and finances might reflect that, or she might be more inclined to kind of hold on to or even hoard her money and possessions. Sometimes Cancer likes to kind of hang on and hoard things. Okay. All right. And also, again, I think there's going to be some family dynamics. Venus, our connection with those that we love, especially maybe the females in our life. It doesn't have to necessarily be only females, but there's going to be a family kind of dynamic here because now we have the sun in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, and Venus in Cancer. So lots of family stuff going on. Now, only 2 days after Venus moves into Cancer, Mercury is moving out of Cancer and into Leo. And Mercury is going to be in Leo from the 19th of July until the 14th of August. So again, Mercury rules the mental realm, thoughts, ideas, perceptions, communication style. In Leo, it's going to be much more gregarious, optimistic, sometimes maybe egocentric, but very creative. You know, Leo is a very creative and self-expressive sign. So we're much more inclined to be colorful in our conversations and communications and speak more creatively and maybe eloquently, and really just, you know, again, express ourselves and express how we feel. Hopefully that's the case anyway, right? On the same day, the 19th of July, this is when Chiron is turning retrograde. It turns retrograde at 16 degrees of Aries, okay? Now, it moves very slowly. It's going to be retrograde in Aries all the way till December. So it's been in Aries for quite a while. It's still going to be in Aries even after it turns direct for quite a while. But it's retrograding from 16 degrees of Aries, and I think it's back to only 11 degrees of Aries. So that's only going back 5 degrees from now, July 19th, until sometime towards the end of December. So it's going to be retrograde for a while. So again, the intensity and magnification of Chiron and Aries is going to be mostly noticed when it's turning retrograde around this time. We might feel it about a week before and maybe up to a week after, where again, there's wounds regarding self-identity, self-awareness, confidence, courage, independence, self-sufficiency, all those things that deals with Aries energy. On the 22nd, we've got the sun moving out of Cancer and into Leo, and this is typical of this time of year, this time of the month of July. It'll be in Leo for about the next month. And this brings us to the new moon in Leo that we have on the 28th of July. So the sun and the moon both are in Leo at this time. New moons are about new beginnings. And Leo again is this creative, passionate fire sign. It can be about leadership. It can be about creativity and all forms of creative self-expression. It can be about children or the inner child and healing the inner child or working with the inner child. It can be this combination of playfulness, like Leo the lion. Lions are playful, cats are playful, but also it can be fierce, right? Because a lion can be quite fierce. And so we've got this combination of fun, childlike, creative energy and fierce leadership, kind of take charge sort of energy, okay? Now that new moon on the 28th is at 5 degrees Leo, and it's connecting to Jupiter, planet of abundance, prosperity, blessings, and planet that rules our belief systems at 8 degrees of Leo. This is a positive connection because Jupiter is in fire sign Aries, and of course Leo is a fire sign. Now the same day, Jupiter is retrograding at 8 degrees of Aries. So what does this do? Remember, a planet that retrogrades intensifies the energy. So Jupiter going retrograde on the same day that the new moon is going to intensify this Jupiter expansion energy, Jupiter exaggeration energy. So Jupiter is going to expand and exaggerate both the Aries energy, which again is the sign of the self and independence and courage and confidence and taking charge and being an individual, but it's also going to magnify this this new moon. So the new moon, new beginnings. Write out and set your intentions, right? What do you want to create in your life? Because Leo is about creation. What do you intend to begin or start in your life? Because it's a new moon. And Jupiter, again, is going to bring in that expansion quality and expand the potential of this energy. And Jupiter rules blessings. It's the great benefic. So whatever you set your intentions towards and whatever you choose to create during this time is likely going to grow exponentially. So that's going to be an important new moon. And that's pretty much all that's occurring astrologically for the month of July. I want to say, though, I'm going to jump ahead, that August 1st, Mars the warrior, still in Taurus, is going to connect to Uranus. And I thought that was interesting because on the 1st of July, the very first day of this month's reading, we had Mars the warrior in Aries challenging Pluto, planet of transformation, death, and rebirth. The very first day of August, we're going to have Mars more in stable, grounded, practical Taurus, but connecting with Uranus, the great awakener and harbinger of change and freedom and liberation. So when we start out next month's Empowered Moments reading, we'll be starting out by talking about that as far as the astrological energy of significance. And I thought it was interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. We got quite a lot of cards that was coming out, falling out, and we've got the first position is 2 different cards. So the first of the 2 cards is the Adept of Orbs. Okay, so this is like the Knight of Swords in the traditional tarot. So The Knight. Well, this is, one of those court cards, right? The Page, the Knight, the Queen, the King. This can be aspects of ourselves or aspects of our personality that we're focused in on, depending on what the card is all about. Or it can be bringing in other people in our lives, or, involving us with a person that has these qualities. Now, the Adept is the Knight. So a little bit more mature than the Page. Page is more childlike, immature sort of energy, as they call it. The Adept is, if you were to liken it to an age, it's like a teenager or a young 20-something adult, right? To where they're not quite mature yet. They're not, quite totally responsible yet, or they don't have the wisdom that the Queen and the King does, right? The Queen and the King are more mature, and the Queen that more emotional maturity, and the Kings are more of that mental kind of maturity. And again, depends on the suit as well. But this would be the Knight of Swords, the Adept of Orbs. This is about the mental realm. So this would be having new thoughts and new ideas and believing, I think, anything is possible. Because, a young adult or a teenager, sometimes they think anything is possible. And I believe anything is possible too, right? But we get older and we've gone through certain situations in our lives, and then we start to doubt, and we start to become not as trusting or believing as a younger person might be. So the Adept of Orbs, you can see this person kind of sitting out in nature under a tree and kind of seeing this kind of a visualization of something. So it's like imagining, visualization, coming up with new ideas, new thoughts, seeing the future, seeing what they want to create. So to me, this is all about new ideas, new thoughts, and even maybe new communications or communications with others taking precedence. We do start out the month with Mercury in Gemini, and even Venus is in Gemini for the first couple of days. So that may be part of this significance. Actually, Venus is in Gemini until like the 17th, so quite a bit longer than Mercury. But I think that, this is bringing in the new ideas and the new thoughts and coming up with, this can even be networking and all forms of messages and communication and whatnot. So let's look at the card that came out with this, and maybe it'll give us more of an idea about what this is about. Okay, so the next card, we have another Adept or Knight. This one is the Adept of Chalices, though. So this is like the Knight of Cups. So again, we have a Knight energy, which is a younger, not quite totally mature energy. And when we couple that with cups or chalices or the emotional realm, which this is what this rules, right? You can see this person looks like they're in a cup of water, and the cup of water has this big kind of tsunami wave kind of happening here. They look like they're trying to or attempting to swim. So what might this mean metaphorically? This can be about the emotions kind of starting to rise up, the emotions not being quite calm or stable, and we're trying to maneuver, we're trying to stay afloat, we're trying to move through whatever the emotional energies are right now, and maybe not doing a very good job because it's the Knight, and the Knight again is less than totally mature and grown up, right? So we're just kind of floundering in the emotional water, so to speak. And this is a lot of that Cancer energy going on. Mercury goes into Cancer, the Sun is in Cancer for a good part of the month, Venus goes into Cancer later in the month. So we're dealing with the home, family, emotions, emotional bodies, things that are coming up based on some of the other astrological transits that we didn't get to talk about. But these were the first two cards that came out, right? So we've got the Adept of the Orbs and the Adept of Chalices. So there's a lot going on the mental realm and a lot going on the emotional realm, to where maybe we don't quite have a total handle on. one. Okay, if it was the king, I would say we're much more grounded in whatever the thoughts and emotions are. But with the adept, 2 knights, I think that we're not as grounded, okay, with whatever is going on mentally and whatever's going on emotionally for us. Let's look at the next set of cards, and there's 2 cards that comes out for the second position. Okay, so the next card is Major Arcana 19, and it's Solar Deity. Major Arcana 19 in the traditional tarot, this is the Sun card, Solar Deity, the Sun. And we do have, right, later in the month, we've got Mercury, planet of the mind, the mental realm, moving into Leo, which is ruled by the Sun. Leo is that fiery sun sign, that creative sign. And then we've got the Sun moving into Leo, and then we've got that new moon in Leo towards the end of the month, and that's connecting to Jupiter, making all that, you know, Leo energy or fire energy a little bigger. So it makes sense that this would come up, and you can see this bright ball of fire, you know, and the fire, it's emitting kind of these waves of fire, you know, and again, fire is passion, fire is inspiration, fire is creation or creative energy. It's spiritual energy as well. The Sun card typically is about career, success in career, shining your light on your destiny path and who you are, showing the world who you are by shining your light. We do have a Pegasus here, a Pegasus with wings, kind of flying over the sun, okay? So that can be metaphoric too, kind of like that death and rebirth, right? There's that mythological story of, is it the eagle that, no, it was a vulture, I think. The vulture that pushed something into the sun, and I know you guys are probably laughing because I don't remember now the exact kind of mythology. But the vulture pushed something towards the sun to save the planet or something like that. And its vulture feathers got all burned up, and hence it became the phoenix, right? So it's the phoenix energy. So that's kind of that karmic number of the 13, that death and rebirth and transformation and change. And it's like the 3 levels of Scorpio, the scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix. And here we've got the Pegasus flying over the sun. So it makes me feel like we're expanding our wings, we're flying higher, we're showing the world who we are, we're shining our true colors and shining our light and being our own unique selves, right? And that's what all this Leo energy is all about, this creative, fiery, passionate, individualistic, look at me world sort of energy, okay? So this is that, like it's really getting in touch with that passion energy within yourself, that creative spark of life energy. Let's see what card came out with this. Okay, all right. Believe it or not, we've got another adept. This one is the Adept of Flame. So again, the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands, the Adept of Flames, coming out with the flame of the sun, the flame of the solar deity, okay? So again, it's really highlighting that new moon in Leo connecting with Jupiter in fire sign Aries and expanding our sense of individuality and who we are. Look at the Adept of Flames here. Now, this really probably should be just a little bit lower, but this is the solar plexus chakra. This is the golden yellow of the solar plexus chakra, that area that's just above our belly button, that rules our empowerment, our willpower, our confidence, our courage, our leadership, our sense of take charge ability. And that's what's highlighted here for the Adept of Flames. It's got a yellow candle that matches that yellow, golden yellow solar plexus. So again, the yellow color of the willpower, the confidence, etc. This could be, again, lighting the fire within yourself, following the flame of passion, or letting the candle light your way on your journey. They add up to flames, the flame suit, the wand suit. Again, it's creative, spiritual energy that you're channeling through this solar plexus chakra. And even the sun, the solar deity, is going to be a solar plexus chakra sort of energy. It's got that golden yellow color. It's got some orange too. So even highlighting maybe the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is creative self-expression and passion. The golden yellow is the confidence, the courage, the willpower. So this, as we get towards the middle or later of the month, and with that new moon, is going to be what this is all about. And it's interesting that we've got 3 adepts now, right? We've got the adept of orbs, the adept of chalices, the adept of flames. So again, this isn't the most mature of energies. It's more of that between the childlike page energy before you get to the mature queen and king energy. And this is a month that is ruled by karmic number 13. So we're going through this transformation and change, which often teenagers and young adults go through, this death and rebirth and transformation and change in many areas and aspects of their lives. So you can see that this is a part of the energy. Now let's look at the last card. And the last card is just one card. Okay, so the last card, Major Arcana 11. It's divine justice. So the traditional tarot card is the justice card. And here we have Lady Justice blindfolded as she usually is and holding the scales. These scales look like they're pretty balanced, right? They're not out of balance. There's not one side that's lower than the other side. And she's here, though, kind of in this portal of energy within the universe. We've got universal energy around her. She's up in the stars, up in the universe, but it's like this magical portal of energy has opened, and out comes Lady Justice, kind of righting the wrongs, rebalancing the scales, things that are not aligned with our truth and well-being and where our soul is supposed to go next is being righted by the divine justice card. So I feel like the universal energy is assisting this transformation and death and rebirth. It's assisting us in realigning with our divine higher soul self truth. Okay, so if there's things in your life that aren't vibrating to the next step on your highest and most important destiny path, I think that during this month it will at least be initiated, if not completed, that the scales are going to be rebalancing themselves. Things in your life is going to be rebalancing, transitioning, redirecting, so that you're more in alignment with your universal and higher soul self truth here. Okay? All right. Let's see what messages you get depending on your stone of choice. Again, we have Sonora Sunrise, Sunset Chrysocolla. We've got the Lapis, and we've got the Ruby Fuchsite. Okay. So this is the Beyond Lemuria deck. I think I used it once before in the past. It's a newer deck, so I haven't used it a whole lot. Let's see what comes out for the Sonora Sunrise, Sunset Chrysocolla people. Special message for July. The one on the bottom, I feel like. Ooh, the Violet Flame. I picked up this deck earlier when I decided I wanted to use it, and a card flipped out on the floor for myself, and it was this exact card, if you can believe it. So the Violet Flame. So the Violet Flame is associated with Saint Germain, Ascended Master Saint Germain, who uses the Violet Flame to transmute lower vibrational energies to a higher vibration of light. So you can call in Saint Germain if you feel so guided. Ask him to surround you in a ball or an egg-shaped dome or whatever you want to envision of violet light, which is kind of like this amethyst purple light, like an amethyst would be. So as you're immersed in the violet flame, have the intention that it's transmuting or burning away all lower vibrational energy, karma, emotions, feelings, thoughts, perceptions, belief systems, patterns that you no longer need to carry as you move forward on your journey. Now, I haven't looked at these cards a whole lot. Let's see what the symbol, they're so symbolic. I mean, these cards are so colorful and beautiful and symbolic. So we've got an eye in the sky. So it's like, you know, the eye of God, the eye of the universe, kind of watching over and protecting and guiding you, making sure that you're safe, making sure that you're on the right path, on the right track. We've got this wonderful, beautiful, divine, feminine woman here, and she's got this energy coming out of her hand, kind of going up towards the universe or even towards that eye in the sky. So it's like we have the magic within ourselves, right? You know, we can direct that violet flame. I feel like they're saying, not only can we transmute energies in and around ourselves with the violet flame, but we can direct that violet flame to situations and circumstances, the past, old karmic, you know, patterns from other lifetimes. And even if it's in accordance with another person's higher self, we can direct or visualize the violet flame around somebody else too. Just make sure that you get permission from their higher soul self to kind of put that violet flame or embody them with that violet flame. Not quite sure what this is. You know, upon first glance, I almost, you know, I don't think it is, but it almost looked like a chain that was chaining down to some energy down here, but I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. But if we said it was a chain, we could say that, you know, as she's kind of holding on to it, that she's chained to the past, or she's chained to a particular circumstance or situation. And really this chain is not connecting to anything. If you follow the chain up here, it just kind of peters out into nothingness. And so it's not really that you're chained to anything, because it's not attached to anything. It's just something from the past. So I feel like a lot of us might be connected emotionally, fearfully, anxiously, or in a despair mode to something or a memory of the past. I feel like we need to just kind of let that go. We need to allow the violet flame to transmute and heal that for us, okay? All right, let's put that back in the deck in case somebody else gets it. And let's look at lapis. So special message for the lapis people for July. Lapis people. This one's calling my attention. Okay. Star Seer. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Lots of colors in that one. Star Seer. So I feel like, you know, it's quite possible that those who got this, that you're some sort of a star person. I've been kind of studying different star system races. We got Pleiadians, Sirians, Lyrians, Arcturians, Alpha Centaurians, Andromedans, and there's so many more. Different ones have different qualities. I've been kind of, you know, for myself, looking into what qualities of what races seem to kind of fit me, because I know I'm a star being as well. And I feel like there's more than one of those races that I fit into. So you might want to just look that up, check that out. There might be some sort of special message as far as the star being type that you are and what your mission is here in this lifetime. This is someone who I think sees beyond the illusion of this third dimensional reality, because it says Star Seer, and we've got kind of this ladder here from her hand. There's a little person walking up the ladder and into this kind of star energy, almost as if, again, she's connecting to another dimension of time and space, and she's seeing beyond the illusion of the third dimension, you know, our planet Earth and the happenings on planet Earth. She's seeing maybe the higher scheme of things, or what's occurring from a higher perspective here on the planet. Star to me is, you know, way out there, right? The stars are out there in the universe. So a star seer, I feel like, sees beyond the everyday workings of this third dimension. It's like they don't get caught up in the dramas so much. They look to a higher reason. They want to, again, understand things from a higher perspective. And she's got quite the third eye going on here too, right? So she's definitely claircognizant and clairvoyant and able to see, again, psychically, things that are occurring and what's going on. So this might be saying that your own psychic abilities are being highlighted, your ability to astral travel or travel to other dimensions, maybe in your dream time, is also heightening right now. At the very least, I would say that this is a message to try to see the bigger perspective of what's going on in your life. Try to look at things from a higher or different vantage point. Okay, and understand that there's more than what appears to be happening or going on, both in maybe your personal life, but also on a collective level. Okay, let's put that back in the deck, and then we've got the Ruby Fuchsite. Okay, so Ruby Fuchsite special message. Special message for Ruby Fuchsite for July. This one's popping up. Well, I guess it was on the bottom. Ooh, ether. Ether. And it says, the seamless unspeakable. So what is the ether? It's like what's out there in the universe, right? It's not fire, air, earth, and water. That 4 elements that we talk about in astrology, it's actually ether. What's beyond all of that? It's like the 5th element. If I were to assign ether to something astrologically, I would assign it maybe to Uranus. Uranus is kind of that bridge to the higher dimensions, to the electrical universal energy that's out there in the heavens and in the stars. And it does say the seamless unspeakable. So it's that is hidden, that is not easily defined, is what I would say. Could be kind of Neptunian as well. But what is not easily defined, right? The universe. The universe is not easily defined. The Akashic records, maybe for most people, is not easily defined. Maybe what's unfolding on this planet, not easily defined. So there's unknowable energy. And this would also be, like from a more personal standpoint, the message would be how your life is unfolding, or the circumstances unfolding in your life might be unknowable. Like it's not set in stone. There's more than one possibility, which is often the case, right? Based on our free will, there's usually more than one possibility. And I feel like they're saying timelines. So timelines, there's many timelines. We're living in one timeline, but if we make a free will choice to do something different than we're doing now, or go in a different direction, we can put ourselves on another timeline. Or there's parallel dimensions and parallel earths and parallel lives. And I mean, we can get, really out there with some of this information, but know that there's, an aspect to you that's living kind of another existence, another timeline. And again, with different free will choices and decisions, we can change our own timeline. On a collective level, the more people that connect with a certain idea, a certain perspective, we can change the timeline of the collective and what's unfolding here from our perspective of how we're viewing it. But again, it's the seamless unspeakable. We don't know. We can't define it. We can't totally understand it. We just have to trust and have faith that whatever it is right for us in the moment. That whatever we choose is right for us in the moment. And just, I would like, I keep feeling like doing like meditation work and visualizing possibilities, or the possibility that you would like to see created is actually better, right? We don't want to visualize a lot of different possibilities, because then the universe doesn't know what to bring us. So as we visualize and focus on an intended energy, then we can kind of bring that into the speakable. We can bring that into the now. But there's like a lot of potentials floating around out here in the seamless unspeakable of the universe. Okay. All right, everyone. I hope, wow, we were almost at an hour. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for hanging in there and watching this whole video. Thank you for your love and support and comments. I send you all lots of love and light and many, many angel blessings until I connect with you next month and or next week. Namaste, everyone.